YouTube! Hiya! And I am Aya. This is our retroview series, and today we're reviewing Halo 1. As always, we're going to talk about our criteria of graphics, sounds, story, gameplay, replayability, my personal experience, and of course, did it stand the test of time? Well, to start out, let's talk about what Halo is all about. You play as Master Chief, a very iconic game character most people do know about Halo, and their companion Cortana. And you go around and you fight the Covenant, which are aliens. You go on these missions to, you know, save people after the attack, and there's all this kind of crazy shit out in space that you have to fight. So being a very special fighter, Master Chief, you go around and you kill things. That's pretty much the gist of the game. It is a first-person shooter, and it's fun. I would say story-wise, honestly, it has just enough story to keep you coming, but not too much story to make it boring. It's not a super story-heavy game, which I personally appreciate for shooters. I have my objectives, and you get to go, you know, play through the story of Halo. So story-wise, I would have to say, out of 5, I'd give it a 4.5. It's just enough. It keeps you entertained. It keeps you intrigued. It makes you want to go on these missions. You know, dire situations happen. Cortana kind of guides you around a bit, especially if you just kind of sit there like me and have no idea what you're doing, and you're just like, where am I going? Gameplay is something I have a lot more to talk about, since controls are weird. And I know, like, oh, older games have weird controls. Yes, I get it. But we're talking about nowadays. Games nowadays, you have your trigger for your shooties. You have your other trigger for your aiming. And bumpers are your grenades and stuff like that. You know, usually square is your reload button. However, in Halo 1, it is not. You can't maintain crouch. You have to hold the left stick down to crouch. It's not like a toggle where you can just hit it once and you're crouched forever. So that was a little inconvenient at times, because I would like to have been hidden when I was sniping and, you know. Grenade throwing is left trigger. Kind of weird. X, thank God, was jump. I probably would have cried. Circle, or what is it, B, I believe, on the Xbox controller is your melee button. Normally, your melee is your right stick push-in a lot of modern games, at least. So I kind of thought that that was a little bit iffy. There's definitely some areas, even on easier difficulties like normal or whatever, that are a little hard, and there's levels that are a little long and repetitive. We played it on heroic because it was not my first time playing, and I have to say heroic was a little harder in some spots, especially the gauntlet. So other than those controls, camera and movement where your, you know, sticks, that's pretty normal. Square is your flashlight, actually. So instead of reloading, I kept turning on and off my flashlight. I'm like, well, hopefully none of fellow soldiers have epilepsy, because I would have probably triggered the seizure by now. So other than those controls, everything was pretty much all right once you got used to where everything was. There is no map. You can't just pull up a map and see where the you are. So that was a little bit weird. I like maps because I get lost very easily. Even with a map, I get lost. Gameplay wise, your health bar and your shield. So the shield regenerating is really nice. Your health, I feel like sometimes the spacing out of med packs was a little bit too far for the average gamer. I think that getting hit, like if you get shot like 4 times and you die, like you just die. That is a little bit, I don't know. I feel like Master Chief is supposed to be stronger than that, right? There's no dodge rolling, there's no running. So that keeps the gameplay kind of slow. Your movement and dodging of bullets or whatever those laser beam things are. I like that they have different types of enemies. So you have little grunts, you have the shield dudes, and then you have the elites, and then you have the hunters, and the hunters are other than the Covenant, you do encounter the Flood. We didn't see this on stream, but well, we've all seen it, right? The Flood is creepy, and I think they did a good job of making it creepy. It's a parasitic, like, crazy infection, basically, and they did a relatively good job, I would say, by making you feel uneasy when you encounter the Flood. I would say overall gameplay, I'd say a 3 out of 5. Mostly because the controls were stupid. Also, I wish I could have the sword. I know you can get it in like Reach and stuff, but you can't get it in 1. You can't have the nice light sword, and that makes me mad. What I do like is you can also pick up random guns from your enemies. They drop enough ammunition for your weapons that you get from your, what is it called? The UNCS weapons. The game isn't linear, as in like your maps are not super linear. You do have to like run around and find where to go. So that is a little bit less like boring and monotonous. The old graphics were still pretty darn good. Would have to say, graphically, for the type of game it is, it has just enough detail to make it like feel immersive, right? And then of course the remakes, the graphics get better. And if you're gonna play this now in 2024, I recommend playing the remastered pretty version. Overall, we'll say pretty good. Sounds. Now, Halo has some of the most iconic music here as its main theme. Everyone like recognizes it pretty much. Anyone who plays games at least. And people who don't even. Master Chief doesn't really talk a lot, which is a little sad in my opinion. But we do have Cortana talking to you all the time, and the dialogue of the soldiers can be quite entertaining. I like that everything is like voice acted out. The cutscenes are pretty good. And overall, I'd say like when it comes to voice acting and character dialogue, pretty solid. Music is iconic, but there are times in the game where it is silent, and it is very hard for someone like me to focus when it's so quiet. So pretty solid, 4 out of 5. Replayability. This game I would consider as a game that you could replay many times. You have the different difficulties for starters. You can do challenges, try to do speed runs. I mean, it has a lot of different things that you can do. Alien weapons only, or pistol only, or whatever, right? To make it a challenge in some way. So replayability, quite a bit. Nostalgia factor, if you played it back in the day, sure. I think this was on the original Xbox, right? So, I mean, it's been out for a hot minute. I won't spoil too much story if you haven't played the games. Obviously, we have the Master Chief Collection on Steam. Let's talk about my personal experience with the game really quick. And then we'll say, did it stand the test of time, which I think we all know the answer to. So my personal experience is, some places, very easy. Some places, very hard. I found myself getting lost a little bit. The aim of the rifle is ridiculously horrible. Pistol, not bad. Sniper rifle, pretty good. They don't really tell you how to charge your alien weapons that you can charge. I like that there's like different enemies. I like that they have different designs, different colors, the invisible, different weapons, so different enemies will drop different weapons. I think that's cool. The flood is disgusting and ugly and creepy, and I hate the flood. I don't really particularly like playing the older games with the flood in them because it's just very scary to me, especially like what they do to people and stuff. I mean, like, ugh. But you know, I have to say Halo overall did a very, very good job of telling their story, portraying it visually and everything. So I gotta say, I love Halo. I love Halo, and I would love to beat the fucking game on a legendary. I really want to beat it on legendary, but it just takes so long. My opinion of the game, very good. Very, very good. For a game that is 23 years old almost at this point in time, it aged phenomenally well. Graphics aside, like the graphics are a little bit outdated, sure, but with the remasters you don't even have to worry about that. And honestly, it's a really solid shooter game, and I don't think it will ever age out. And maybe it will, you know, when we're all sitting in our VR headsets and that's all we do, and that's what we play games on. But until that day, I think Halo will remain one of the best shooter games, franchises, or whatever series of all time. And I don't think that they will age out 20 plus years later, and it's still just as good as it was back in the day. So what are your opinions on Halo 1? Did you enjoy it when you were younger? Did you play it as you were older? Did you up the difficulty? What parts did you like and what parts did you not like? Let me know in the comments below of the YouTube video. And if you feel like it, to support me, you just have to hit that like button and maybe that subscribe button. And if, of course, you want me to review any other retro game, also let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming to Retroview! Mwah.